All right, we live, man. We finally made it out the group chat. Right, we
Yes,
here,
sir.
bro.
We finally
Let's
made it.
finally made it, man. R&R podcast, man. Where the X's and O's meet real world experiences. I'm your co-host, Richard Daniels.
And I'm your other host, Rodney White, man. We just happy to have this thing going, getting this thing rocking and rolling. We got our first guest, my guy, Rich guy, one of my mentors, Coach Gray, man. It's great to have you on. It's been an honor to be working under you all those years I did. And
Yeah,
man, you are one of many of the legends of coaching around here, and a lot of people have a lot of good things to say about you.
yeah,
Like, man, from just you doing basketball camps, gave me my first opportunity to do a camp, and man, I didn't know what I was doing, but I remember you was like, "I'm gonna be right back.
yeah,
I'm gonna get some donuts. You got it." And that right back,
yeah,
being like at 4 o'clock when it's about time to go.
yeah, yeah,
But I appreciate it, man, because like after your camp, I was able to do my own camp at the Y, and just grow from it. Like like I said, I was worried, I was nervous about it, but man, I appreciate everything you did, man, giving me opportunity to come back. Me and Rich kind of talked about it in the last podcast, but give me the opportunity to come back to the school I played at, and kind of giving me that that push to be like, nah, no, no, bro, it's not over yet.
yeah,
You need to keep
yeah,
coaching, and if I didn't listen to you on that phone call, then I probably wouldn't be where I'm at now at the school I'm at now coaching, because I would have just been sitting around complaining. But you gave me that push, man. I appreciate it, man. You helped so many people coaching, and I just want to give you flowers at the beginning before we
yeah,
even get started.
yeah.
Right on, man. I appreciate that. So my turn. Uh, you know, I'll start with you first, Rod. You being, from Wilmington and now you're up in Kernersville doing your thing, making your mark. I wanted you to be around because I felt like you made me better. You know what I'm saying? Younger voice, still can relate to the kids really well.
Yep.
You've had a program that's been sustainable through all these years with the Bulls program, and so it was the right thing to do for you to come back and help us coach. And I just want to appreciate you for that. Proud of you. Rich, come on now. We fam. Going all the way back to your dad and me coaching Shoddy, and you being able to train my boys and a lot of folks here in the community as well. I mean,
Yeah.
both of y'all right now are pouring into these kids. You're two successful programs. Those schools are lucky to have y'all mentoring their kids. So I'm just happy you guys are doing what you love, man, because that's what it's all about. That's
Yeah,
what it's
no,
about.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, man, Rod. It's crazy because we was on the live, and we were just trying not to kind of give away who our guest was because we went right into like, you know, Monty Gray and like, those instances of you coaching him and I mean you coaching with him and then, of course, me with Glenn and training and Monty. A lot of people don't know, man, like you've been doing this for a long, long time. We are all grown now. Some of them
Yeah.
got kids, and
Yep.
you know what I'm
Yes.
saying, and
Yeah.
have actually poured into your kids, and so this is like a full circle moment for us, man. And so we definitely got to give you your flowers. Before we get into the questions, I definitely want to read, just a little bit. So if people don't know, Monty Gray, man, 20-year career coaching, graduate of East Forsyth '92. If I'm not mistaken, man, Hall of Famer, 2023 Hall of Fame class. Played at Winston-Salem State under the legendary, Clarence Big House Gaines. That is like, people don't get to talk about, the coaches that made them, kind of get into coaching or people that kind of built their foundation. But man, I hear stories about Big House Gaines and the guys that he's coaching, the teams he coached, man. So that's definitely legendary. Before we get started, kind of tell us about that.
Playing for Big House was it was different, man. Just shout out to Donnie Holt. He was the one basically coached me at East. Still my mentor to this day. But when I went over to Winston State, really didn't know what to expect. I just wanted to hoop, just like anybody else, And I mean, I was a basketball junkie. I lived in the gym. I think I wore basketball shorts every day to class. But you don't realize the legend Big House was at the time when you're playing for him. You know what I'm saying? It took some time to really register for me, but he was a good coach. He was straight up. He didn't mess with you in terms of your mental, or he didn't try to play mind games with you. He told you straight up how it was, what his expectations were, and you had to you had to adjust. You had to deal with it, and
Yeah,
so. Really fun days, great times when I was over at Winston-Salem State hooping.
yeah. Nah, man, that is awesome. My dad, he, of course, he played football at Winston-Salem State, and I know y'all go back, but he always talks about big house games, and then like when they did intramurals, and they would, play with the basketball team, and that kind of stuff. So just hearing those stories, man, that's awesome. Your coaching career. So we're gonna get into that.
Okay.
You coached with Andy Muse, somebody else who's been doing this 30 plus years. That's your first start, if I'm not mistaken, Mount Tabor.
Yep.
Well, I know downtown. I'm gonna go back downtown middle school. Hey,
Ooh,
hey,
yeah.
hey, listen. I wanted to play for Monty Gray at downtown middle school, and I got to the sixth grade, and
Yeah.
this joker left downtown school. Hey, Brian, he left downtown school. That's all I wanted to do. Sixth grade, play for Monty Gray, man, and he left, and he, started his high school career. Um, at Mount Tabor, went on to be the girls' coach at Reynolds High School. You got to coach a pro. I'm gonna let you kind of get into that. Whitney
Yeah.
Knight, who is one of my good friends, um, and then the resume from there. Reynolds, Glenn. You started with Glenn, Forsyth Country Day, East Forsyth, and now Reagan. So you've put together a great rap sheet just for coaching, man. Kind of tell us about transitioning from coaching with Muse and then going right into coaching girls and then having so much success with the girls program.
Oh wow. So I just all these places just means that I'm old and I've been doing it for a long time. That's all that means. Uh I tell everybody, Andy was the first one to kind of give me my start. I tell folks that, I went to the School of Muse. I mean, with Mike, it's over at Wake now. Andy, his family, class act all the way. But Andy kind of was just, he had some standards that he wanted to set with me and for a team, and I just tried to just, I was just there trying to learn. You know what I mean? I thought I knew everything. Thought I was, just because I played in CIAA, and I thought I knew what it was about coaching. But very quickly, I realized that coaching is tough, man. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's tough. It's hard. It's taxing on you, and you have to be able to deal with parents and players and all that sort of thing. But Andy again kind of showed me the ropes, and I'm thankful for that. Stayed with Andy, I think about 7, 8 years, and then I just had that itch that I wanted to kind of do things myself, and so I just took that experience and went over to Reynolds. Reynolds at the time was not good at all, and so I had to show that I could coach a little bit. And I think the first year I was there, the year before, I think they were like 1-23. This first year I got there, I went, I think we went 12-13 or 13-12. Next year, I think we went 18-5. And then after that, I think we made it to the third round of the state playoffs.
mhm.
It's getting kind of foggy on me now, guys. So, I got to, but no, Whitney Knight, oh man, what a player. What a player. She was a hell of a player. Did a lot of good things over there at Bishop McGinnis. I believe she had 2 rings at the time, and what happened was she wanted to play with her friends. And
Mhm.
so all of her friends were coming to me at the time. And so when we were able to put our team together, she was definitely in the mix. And I think that was when I really got an idea of how good she was.
Yeah,
I think she had over 250 schools that was recruiting her. It was so bad that I actually had to get a separate phone just for those coaches because they would call every single day.
yeah,
Every single day they would call for Whitney. I remember one coach that flew in from UCLA just to wave at her. I think she was during those times where they couldn't talk to her or whatnot.
yeah, yeah,
So she actually flew all the way over to Greensboro, drove over to the YMCA because we were practicing there at the time. She just came and sat in the stands and just waved, didn't say a word to her.
yeah, Yeah.
And
And
then,
look,
and then after our practice was over, she drove back to Greensboro and drove back to UCLA. So, I mean, that was
Damn.
wild just dealing with that. But it was fun though. It was really fun. From there, I was able to get a head boys job over at Glenn, and so, me living in Kernersville, right off Union Cross, it was easy. So went over there and tried to, make things right. Followed right behind Lee Revis, who was there for, I think he was there for about probably 10 years or so, very
mm-hmm,
successful. And so it gave me a chance to be, boys coach, and I enjoyed it. Had some really good players, had your brother on there. But it definitely gave me a chance to kind of coach the team I really wanted to coach.
mm-hmm,
Around 215, about probably 2015, I started thinking about, man, I want to be able to attract more. You know what I mean? I want to be able to impact more. And so I went back and got my master's, and then I became an administrator. Thought I was done with coaching, thought I was done with it.
yeah,
And little did I know, it hauled me back in. So then I started coaching over at Forsyth Country Day. I did girls 1 year, and then 2 years with the boys. And so going private schools a different way of doing things than with public school. I mean, again,
Right.
basketball's all the same, but it was just a little different.
yeah,
And so I had a good time there. Met some really good people. Built a lot of good relationship there. And then COVID hit.
mm-hmm,
And so when COVID hit, I was actually out of a job, to be honest with you. And so the stresses that came with not being able to work, didn't know what was going on with this epidemic, all those things were going on. And I was able to land back at East where I graduated from, played there. So that was a blessing. Uh, got off to a really good start. Was able to coach my sons, and and that was a whole nother that's a whole nother conversation.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it was fun though. It was good. It was good. We enjoyed it. We had our ups and downs, but we did really good things over at East, and I was happy for that. So um again, with my job, ESSER funds basically ended, and so I had to find a job. And so I started flirting with central office, and I was able to go over there and work for a year and a half. And again, I thought I was done coaching,
yeah.
and then that kind of led me into going over to Reagan. I was hired by Brad Royal, and the rest is history. So here I am. Here I am.
Man, that's a great story. Yeah, look, we were talking about the story with East Forsyth,
Yeah.
and I don't know if Rod ever knew the story, but I told him I was like, man, I was just so young and immature, and like I was a hothead, mad because I'm going through my first interview, and I'm thinking I'm like, man, ain't no way they can't, I'm doing. I feel like I did good in this interview,
Right.
and so it was like a Friday. News broke, man, Monty Gray, he ain't coaching at Forsyth Country Day no more. So I'm like, okay. Friday evening. Hey man, y'all know Monty got the job at East. I'm hot. And I was hot. Hey, I was hot, man, because I'm just like, man, I ain't know nothing about no politics. You learn it. This coaching world, you figure out things. And so I
Right.
definitely shared that story. And I told him, man, I owed you the apology. We got the rap about that down the
Absolutely.
line. But I was, just super young, super immature, thinking like, I'm entitled. And so we learn, but man, what you do for the kids and stuff, man, is much appreciated, and definitely for me, and I'm pretty sure the same for Rod. Rod, I'll let you kind of tune in on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's crazy how we all on the call right now because same thing. Rich, you was feeling the same thing I was feeling when I didn't get it at Walker Town. It was like the same kind of like backstory. Like what in the world? Like but then you learn and you think you got something in your hands, you think you got the job, but sometimes like certain jobs is just not the right job for you at that time.
Mm,
And I think me looking back on it, I kind of figure out like, dang, like can I really, with my job situation and how I work from home and stuff, like can I really get there all the time? Can I do this? So God blessed me with the job right down the street from my house. I mean, like
mhm.
10 minutes from my house,
Yeah.
and I just feel like sometimes we look at things, and I was immature also. And you look at things, you be like, man, what? What I'm saying? Like, what? But really, it just wasn't my time. Like, you know what I'm saying? And when I got the job, that's why I posted perfect timing because
Yeah.
I
Yep.
I learned a little bit more on the Greg and just like how to deal with things behind the scenes and study and stuff. Like, man, I wasn't studying for games and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
Yeah.
like, I see how much like I get to the school and Gray already have everything like written out. This kid like to do this. This kid don't want to go this way. They don't got a bench. Like like those things help you as a coach to know
Yeah.
those things. So
Yeah.
I needed another about 3 or 4 years to kind of develop more of my coaching skills, and I was happy to do that. But yeah, we always in the same. We was all like in a triangle offense. If you think about it, if you really
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
about it, we all
Mm.
we all was. So one of the first questions I have for you today, coach, is: does your habits align with your goals?
Sure, absolutely. In terms of my team or just my personal habits?
Your personal habits.
Personal habits, yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that I try to do is I always try to be optimistic about the future, right? And I try to surround myself with positive people. I drive to work every day, and it's like a 40-minute ride. And my daily habits are I gotta listen to some gospel. I gotta listen to a little bit of gospel when I get down on that road.
Yeah.
Now I may follow up that gospel with some trap music or something like that. But I'll be honest with you. I always have to make sure that I'm giving thanks to the man above.
Yeah.
Um, when I first start thinking about habits, when it comes to like my team, there are some things that we need to work on, right? There are some things that we have to get better at, and one of the things is we got to get tougher. We got to get stronger. So we're dedicating a lot of time to just being in the weight room. We're in the weight room probably 2 or 3 times a week, just trying to get our boys just to get stronger. Um, the next thing is, we start looking at, I have an analytics guy, Bill Armour. He is, oh my goodness, God, he is crazy with the numbers, and so he'll tell me that there are spots on the floor where we have really low percentage. So what we've been doing is, as long as we're working out, we try to get up shots every single day.
That's
And
tough.
I'm not just talking about threes. I'm talking about just mid-range shots and those sort of things, shooting off the bounce. So we spend a lot of time doing that. The last thing I'll say for our habits is mental health is so important with our kids, right? It's a different day and time, and so we're we're at this point where we have about 45 kids that are coming to workouts. So I really can't tap
Mhm.
into I can't tap into that yet with my team, but we try to just talk about some things about what went well for us today at workouts, what didn't go well for us today in workouts, how can we change, how can we just really trying to just tap into their mental more than anything else, because these kids are dealing with a lot of stuff every day.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so those are the things that I try to do as far as our habits to hopefully we'll see us attain the goals that we want to get to.
Yeah. Rod, I'll let you go first, kind of just piggybacking off that.
Um, man, like I like the gospel music, before you get your day started and it's, walking in like on faith and it's, um that's important. Like, that's definitely important. Like you want to have a clear mind, you want to be focused, you want to be locked in. With me, man, it's crazy you said about the circle because at the end of every workout with my guys, like we talk. I'm like, how the day went. Some of them might say, most of the seniors, they'll be like, it was bull crap. We was missing layup, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But it helps the younger guys too, because like, when you got them freshmen, they scared. Like,
Yeah.
they it's their first year in high school. They want to make the best impression for you the head coach. And for me, I want my guys to be always able to talk to me. You know,
Yes.
always be able to talk to me. Sometimes I learned from you, Gray. You know, a lot of times you went to some of the guys like, what's working? What y'all feel like is working? And I
Hmm.
think as a coach, sometimes we have to step back and what y'all want to run? Like, what y'all think is a good, suggestion? Can we go man to man? Like, you got to really ask your guys, like, look in their eyes, like, y'all think we can go man to man? So, I think that's
Yeah.
great, man. Being able to talk to the guys after practice. Even when practice is over, when you once you walk out of that gym, you still want to be able to talk to your kids, man. And I think over the years I've did a great job of just like always talking to my guys, even when they done playing with me. Just staying in contact with them because, like you said, man, you never know what everybody's going on, especially these kids.
Hmm.
It's so much, social media.
Yes,
They're trying to find their way.
Yeah,
So
no doubt.
that's great that you do it with you guys.
yeah. I definitely agree with both of y'all. I would ask too, Money, like, okay, how do you preach to your kids that their habits have to align with their goals? Like I know us as men and have gone through the process of playing and coaching for a while, like I know we definitely have things that we want to do every day, kind of like a structure. Otherwise, you just chaotic, but
Hmm.
as a coach because now we're all head coaches. You at a different program that's different from East Forsyth as far as the demographics and the type of kids you coach and ride. You at a different school now where the demographics are different and maybe the culture is different. Like how do you, I guess, preach to your kids or teach them how to align their work habits with their goals?
Well, that's funny you said that. One of the players I just talked to last week, we were having a heart to heart, and he was like, "Coach, I don't necessarily need basketball to be able to go to school." And
Hmm.
I said, "I get that." I said, "Yeah, I understand." And he was like, "But even though I'm a senior and I'm high academic, I still want to play because I want to play. I love the game." And he says, what I told him is, I said, "So you know that this will probably be the last time you put on a uniform, right?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he kind of started thinking about it. But it's almost like, and we always heard this, what is your why? You know what I mean? Like, what is your why? Why are you doing this? You
Right.
know, when I was over East Forsyth, we had a lot of great athletes, a lot of great players. Um, but they had a different why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what I basically try to do is tap into, well, why are we doing this? Because the stuff that I put our guys through, you're not gonna come out there if you just like basketball,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
I mean, we're running hills,
Right.
we're running miles, we're doing
Right.
stadiums. I mean, I'm trying to strip them down all the way to see really who's about that life. You know what I
Hmm.
Right.
mean? So what I just try to do is I try to ask them, like, this is not, a social event. Like, you have to figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, with 45 kids, I mean, cuts are coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always tell them, like, you're always being evaluated. It doesn't mean that you're going to be evaluated just on the basketball court, but you're going to be evaluated every time I see you.
Yeah.
So they have to put things in perspective. You know what I'm saying? And I think once they realize kind of what track or what road they're going to take, then that's best for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Um, I think for me, you want me to go ahead and jump into the next question with him?
No, I was just gonna say, like, how do you, I guess, teach your kids the same thing, or like do their
Um,
work habits align with their goals?
my my kids is a little bit different. Just like any other school, but I do have a different set of kids at my school, and I think the really most important thing that we did last year, and I think they probably, I don't know if they did, I don't know, they did it the year before, but just it was Martin Luther King Day, right? And after practice was over, we kind of, got in a circle and I said, guys, do you guys really understand and know why that you're out of school today?
Hmm.
And, a lot of them, gave back some great feedback and it was like, yeah, we know exactly why. I said, I don't want you to take this day as just because you get out of school for free. You got a Monday out of school.
Yeah.
I was
Mhm.
like, to be honest, guys, if it wasn't for Martin Luther King, I probably wouldn't even be your head coach.
Mm.
I probably wouldn't even be able to coach you. So and I learned that again from Coach Gray. I don't know if you remember, but it was, I think it might have been during the COVID season, and we was in the weight room,
Mhm.
and it was kind of touching, man. Like we had to. It was kind of dark in there. You was playing on the big screen. Um, and you went over the speech, the Martin Luther King speech. And I think that's important because I can just look at the guys' faces and you can tell they was like, oh dang, like because they already probably like, man, why we gotta come here early in the morning practice,
Yeah.
But
Right.
once we did that after practice, and you gave your speech, man, it was kind of like and they saw the speech, it was kind of like, yeah, like it's crazy. It's crazy that that we all, black men, that we all can be able to, coach kids and we want to coach kids, and I think it's important to, it don't matter what your race is, to just be able to tap in any culture.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I would say for me, man, just trying to get kids to understand, like, kind of like what you're saying, uh, your why matters. And we always say, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So for a person that, if I ask every day in the huddle, who here got goals of playing, college basketball?
Mm,
Everybody raise their hand. Everybody got to train. Like, I want to go play college basketball because, of course, we're looking at the way that this stuff is going with recruitment. And it's like, if you don't put your mindset in the habit of like, I gotta outwork everybody in this gym, I gotta outwork everybody in this city, I gotta outwork everybody in this state, and then I gotta go and compete with 2,300 kids in the portal.
right.
If you don't mentally get yourself prepared to like put your body through hell, college basketball for a high school player now is slim. You know,
Oh,
it's very slim, and so just
Yeah,
as public school coaches and stuff like that, man, it's hard because it's like we're trying to tell them, man, you got to work hard. If you work hard, man, you'll get the opportunity. But
yeah.
in reality, it's we're fighting against something that we have no control over. Um,
right.
I
you
think
know,
just to piggyback off you, and I had two seniors last year. Well, I had three seniors, but one of them already knew, like, kind of like how you grade, like, hey, I'm going to app, and I'm just gonna go to app, like,
yeah,
that. But then I
Right.
had two, um, that was kind of like, I guess once I got over there, I had a couple coaches come in the gym, and they're like, well, dang, look, we probably can, we probably can play in college, and one of them had an offer to Pfeiffer, and another one had an offer to like Carolina University downtown Broad Street, and the one kid, man, Caleb, man, great kid. He's 6'5", super athletic, strong. And he was like, Coach, man, kind of like what you said, Gray. Like, thank you for everything, man. But I'm about to go to Wingate, and I'm gonna go jump into this. I'm gonna go jump into this medical field,
Yeah.
and I just want to focus on that. And like, it's crazy, because probably Rich the same way. I know you the same way, Gray. Like, if anybody would offer me in high school, I'm on it. Yeah,
I just want to
yeah,
hoop. Yeah, I just want to hoop.
Right.
yeah. They ain't got your major. I don't care. I'm going. I'm going.
Yeah,
I'm going.
Right.
I'm going. And then the other kid, he was like, Coach, man, they only offering me, it was like 5,000 or something like that semester. I'm like, dude, as a high school coach, you got to be real with your players too. Like, I was like,
Yep.
dude, just go to NC State, man. Go to NC State, play club, and enjoy your 4 years in college because you don't get those years back, just like high school. And he was
That's right.
like, man, I appreciate that, coach, man. He was like, yeah. He's like, cause it don't make sense to. I was like, bro, go to NC State, live it up,
hmm
get your
Have a good
degree.
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, man, it ain't worth it, bro. Because like you said, it's tough out here. It's tough out here recruiting. It's tough.
It is. It is. It is.
Um, man, I know we're gonna talk basketball all day. We're gonna try to limit it to like an hour. You know what I'm saying? But I know that we're gonna really get into this. The next question,
Yeah,
Yep.
I know as coaches we gotta kind of be careful because people take things the wrong way. But I also feel like these conversations need to be had to advance the game of basketball. So Coach Gray, do you feel like parents and kids hold each other accountable?
Mm.
You know, do they have those real conversations? Are parents, getting on their kids and telling them the truth about maybe their work habits, or maybe, they're not working as hard as they could be, or, you got to listen to the coach. Do you feel like parents and kids hold each other accountable?
Um, some do, and you can see both sides. You can see that parent who is very engaged with their kids' progress. You can see those parents that are real engaged with, their academics. But then you also have the other side where some parents don't have a clue,
Mhm.
and they sometimes may fall for the okey doke, and um, that's why I think that it's important for coaches and even to have this type of platform for us to talk about it.
Mhm.
You know, the best thing you could do in that situation is ask questions, talk to your coach, but just don't start with your high school coach. Talk to other coaches and kind of get a perspective of where they're coming from. Um, you know, I'll say this real quick, and I don't want to be long on it. Um, and again, I'm only talking about me. Uh, when Will was in seventh grade, he was dropping the ball academically. And I talked to my wife, and we were like, we got to do something. We know he loves to play basketball and all that, but he's not getting it done in the classroom. And, all parents love to spoil their kids, right? I mean,
Mhm.
so Will had the flat screen, he had the Xbox, he had a phone, he had all that stuff. And of course, he was playing for, I think, Team Winston at the time. Well, what happened was one day after school, he came to his room and he saw flat screen gone, Xbox gone,
Yeah.
phone gone. Um, and then we also took AAU basketball away from him because we had to let him know, like, we get it that you like playing basketball, but your academics going to take you a whole lot further than basketball.
Absolutely.
And again, you know, these kids don't understand business until you really strip them from it.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
that's what we did. That's what we did. We took everything from them, and it was hard. It was hard. I mean, I'm contemplating if I'm doing the right thing, if we're doing the right thing. I mean, he's moping around the house, he's sad and all that, but
Yeah.
you know what happened? He did that. I think we did that maybe his, let's see, I think it was seventh grade, second semester.
Mhm.
When he was going in the summer, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. His grades came up. Um, he wasn't acting up in class, but he just wasn't doing his work.
Yeah.
And so we said, so you understand that we took these things away from you, so you understand it's not necessarily a right, it's a privilege. And
Mhm.
so this is what it is. And so he figured it out. And I didn't have to do that with David because David was on the sideline watching all this. And he was like, nah, I'm
Yeah.
good. I want to keep my PlayStation, my
Yeah.
stuff. So, but yeah, you got to strip kids. But that's just me. I think parents probably need to do that a little more because, again, you're not going to reach that kid unless you just take something from them.
Yeah.
Some kids can get it and some kids won't. But in my experience, you have to take it away from them.
Yeah.
Hold them accountable.
Yeah. Real quick too, man. Happy birthday to Dave. I know he gonna see this, man.
Happy
Today my
birthday,
boy Dave's
Dave.
birthday.
Big
Uh,
Dave.
I can
PG.
understand now why Dave
PG.
act the way he act because that's a Virgo in us, man. Like
Yep.
Man.
Yep.
stubborn, you know what I'm saying? And real
Chill.
chill, real nonchalant. Hey, that
Real
is I can
cool.
understand it now.
What up, coach?
um,
What up,
I,
coach?
I
What up,
I
coach?
100% agree, man. With I think again, real conversations have to happen amongst everybody, trainers, parents, coaches, kids.
Yeah,
Like everybody has to have those real conversations, and you can't be afraid to hurt feelings sometimes.
true.
Sometimes the truth is needed when you're talking about your child's future. I mean, that's for anybody, whether it's academically or athletically. I think we have to start, really telling the truth. Hey, this kid wants to go to NC State, but he's 5'7". He's not, the quickest. He's not the best scorer. He doesn't pick
Right.
up 94 feet. Just on a basketball level,
Right.
he doesn't pick up 94 feet. What does he do well? Like parents will look at that and be like, well, you just like say my kid not good enough. And to
Right,
be honest, you just like, nah, he's good, but he's not ACC good.
right,
Correct.
You know what
right,
I'm
Yeah.
saying? But he can
right,
go play NAIA. He can go play JUCO. I mean, he can play D3. He can play D2 if he fits the mold. But it's like
right.
I think this D1 or bust mentality has grown so much post
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah,
I mean, before, like me, I'm 5'8" on a good day. And I feel like I was a hellified scorer, but
You were.
I
You
was
were
not a
now.
Division 1 player.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? Like just
Yeah.
I talked to a coach from Division 1. He said, "Hey man, coach recruiting a 6'4" guard." That stung a little bit, but it's like, okay, I understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know, and I went Division 2, and you know what I'm saying. So it's like it's nothing wrong with that, with going and playing where you're wanted, especially
There you go.
nowadays. You know,
No
nowadays
doubt.
you have to go and just wherever school wants you, if it's got your major, if it's gonna set you up to get that diploma, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing.
Yep.
I'm sorry, that degree. You know, that's the most important thing. So, you know, I think kids really got to understand that, and parents got to have those tough conversations.
Absolutely.
I think just following you two guys, I think parents are getting better at it. But you still got you got parents that don't have no clue. You're definitely correct. But parents are definitely getting. I get it. I mean, I don't have kids, so but I get it. It's their baby, and they think their baby is the next best thing smoking. And sometimes he's good, and sometimes he's just a really good high school player. I
Yeah,
mean,
Right.
and that's gonna get be. I mean, I don't seen a lot of kids that was really really good that went D3, that went
Yes.
D2, that went D. Or someone might go D1, or you might go in like. You just got to be real, and I think it starts with us too as coaches. We got to be real with the players
absolutely.
and also with the parents, and don't give them false hopes and say, "Hey, listen, I don't seen a D1 kid before. You know what I'm saying? I don't coach a
Right.
D1 kid, and
Yeah,
it just and it's all about the system. It's all about the right situation for the right kid. Every
yeah,
situation is different for every kid. So I just think us as coaches and parents, we all gotta be on the same page. And that's what y'all said earlier with the trainers and everybody got to be on the same page. Like you can't I can't say, hey, man, you might go, Methodist might be a good look for you, or you know, Bavar might be a good look for you. Then your trainer like, hey, nah, you can go to, you can go Wake Forest, like you know what I'm
yeah,
saying, like,
yeah,
Right. Right.
so I think everybody got to be on the same page. But y'all definitely correct, man. So coach, how do you feel like today? I mean, you had two sons that's playing at the next level. How do you feel about the pressure for players this year to get early offers, and how does that affect their development?
Well, I mean, I think that players nowadays are a little discouraged. They're discouraged because, I mean, you turn on the news and these coaches are basically online shopping. You know what I mean?
hmm
And I think high school kids are at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to receiving money to go to school. So you know, again, that's where it goes back to having a realistic conversation with the player,
yeah,
and try to find out exactly kind of like what's going on. Like if you don't get any offers, what's the next step? You got to have a
hmm
plan B.
hmm
Um, but you have to make sure that they understand that the layout is nothing what it used to be. I can remember playing in, I guess in high school, and I got a letter. And then, me, I'm calling my boy, yeah, I got a letter from such and such. Well, you don't get those no more, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Kids want to get those O's. Isn't that what they call it? They want to
Yep.
get an O.
yeah,
Oh,
Everybody want to get it. And I mean, and again, colleges, coaches, they know that as well. And they want to promote it and put it on Twitter and thankful for receiving an O and this, that, and the third. But until those colleges are talking about money,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And
yeah,
that when they start talking about money and what they and their plan of action for you is it's just kind of it's whatever, right? You
yeah,
can't put a lot of thought process into that regular O, but it's a lot of pressure that comes with it though. And like I said, coaches have to be honest with their players, and players got to understand like just because you want something doesn't mean you're going to get it,
yeah,
right.
and you're going to have to do other things to take care of yourself if you're trying to play on the next level. So you know, going D1 out of high school, you better be 6'4", 6'5", and you better shoot the ball at a high clip. You better be able to do, score on all three levels. You got to be able to do a lot of things. You got to be able to defend. You got to be tough. I mean, again, no one said you can't get there, but it just may be another track that you have to go through. You may have to go to JUCO first just to see if you're, committed, and that'll definitely let you know if you are. If you're able to make it in JUCO, someone will recognize that and they'll give you an opportunity.
yeah, yeah. Rod, I'll let you go ahead and kind of double back on that.
I think. it is a lot of pressure, man, on these kids these days, like because they go back to social media. Like, if you see your homeboy just got an offer from Wichita State, you like, wait a minute, I'm the same. You probably don't beat him at the Y a couple of times. Like, I ain't get a, but it goes back to the right system, the right player for that
Yeah.
system. But I think it's a lot of pressure on kids, man. I think a lot of kids, you know, it's a lot, man. Social media is doing a lot for them, and it's messing them up a little bit. And I wish kids can just keep having fun with the game and loving the
Mhm.
game, and don't worry about the offers, and they'll come, like they'll come. But it's just the world we live in now.
Yep.
Kids, they locked in on their social media. They want to see, well, they want to outdo the next person. They want to, and it's how it is. Just like kids transferring to different high schools, they just trying to figure out, okay, well, he got an offer from here last year. Let me go over to this high school. Maybe they got, So I think it's a lot of pressure on these kids, man, and I think it messes them up mentally because if you ain't got an offer and you like three of your homeboys in your AAU team got an offer already, now you stressing.
Yeah.
Yes.
As a kid, you're stressing as a kid, and then you stressing your coach, your high school coach, because we trying to email and call people, and
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
especially when it's crunch time, and
Yeah.
y'all all know when they get crunch time,
Yeah.
prom don't went through, you got off by prom.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, you got to play on the unsigned senior team. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Right.
What about you, Rich?
Yeah. I will share an instance, man. Just as far as like a kid that I coached at Walkertown, pretty good. This was right in the thick of COVID, when they first started. So a lot of kids weren't getting offers, and I felt like this kid, if this was 2017, 2018, he'd be Division 1, no question. Um,
True.
he averaged in the first 7 games, he averaged 26.5 points. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm telling them like, hey man, you gotta outwork, you gotta do this. And I felt like maybe I had pushed him too much. Um,
Mm.
you know, and so in my approach here now, it's changed a little bit, not as much. I'm still tough on them, but I kind of want to figure out what they want to do. And I keep asking that question constantly, man, let me know what do you really want to play college basketball? If not, it's fine to be a great high school player and have a good career and go on to do whatever, because I think I pushed that kid way too much to the point where like when he finally got the offer,
Hmm.
he's like, nah, I don't want to play no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it hurt me as a coach. Man, Rob, you call coaches, Monty, you call coaches. I'm,
Yep.
emailing, I'm on Twitter, I'm
Yeah.
calling, I don't have a lot of resources. So it's like I'm doing this on my own. Like trying to figure out how to get these coaches' numbers, or I'm hitting them up on Twitter 2 or 3 times. So when I
Hmm.
finally get these coaches, and now they like, hey man, bring them down here for a workout.
Hmm.
Yeah, like, nah, I'm good. So it was,
Right.
I mean, that was a different experience for me, man. I learned from
Right.
that. Like,
Right.
I learned from that. And so going forward, I always make sure to kind of like push, but not give too much. If the kids say, Coach, I can't make workouts, I might tell them about itself, but it ain't, man, if you don't do this, man, you ain't gonna make it to the next, because these kids, like, they honestly, they don't care
Now
because they have
you're
so many
right.
options. I talked about this before. Like they have so many options, so it's like if they don't go play, guess what? Something else is available for them.
Right.
It ain't like
True.
playing I want to play basketball. This is life or death.
Right.
So going into the last question, and this is kind of hitting on the same. What's your approach to helping the athletes handle outside pressure and expectations? So this is not necessarily the offers. This can be, like you said, the trainers, the parents putting pressure on them, maybe being at school and not necessarily being the best player. Like what's your approach to helping those athletes handle the outside pressure and then the expectations that you give
So this year, I'm going to probably reach out and try to bring in three different type of players: Division 1, Division 2, Division 3.
them?
And I don't know if their stories are going to all match up, but
Mhm.
at least they can share kind of their journey on what led them to be at whatever school, respective school they're at. And I want the guys to kind of listen to see how things go, like what issues they had to deal with. My expectations on my team may be a little different. Um, I expect our guys to show up every single day. I expect them to set the standard very high for themselves,
Mhm.
because if that's the case, then everybody's going to be on a very high standard.
Yeah.
The other thing that I try to do is I don't try to talk them to death, you know what I mean? But I do try to just give them some things they can think about, some nuggets for the upcoming season. And we really try to talk about, like, well, what are your strengths? What are your goals? What are some things that you want to do? What are you looking to do? And then, I try to break it down and say, well, you got to show up, you got to be committed, you got to be able to deal with adversity.
Mhm.
Um, I was talking to a counselor. One of my players has a mom, and she deals with, like, again, going back to that mental health.
Mhm.
And there are some things that you can do with your team to just prepare them for just a long, hard, tough season. So I'm gonna take them through it this year. It'll be the first time I'm doing it, but again, we're gonna. I don't know if I said this before, but we're gonna have notebooks in our practice, especially at the very end,
Mhm.
and I need them to write, because I think that if you continue to just say the same thing to them over and over, you're gonna lose them. But if you try to come from a different angle to see for them to understand kind of where you're going, I think that's gonna be helpful.
Yeah.
So, like I said, that's what we're gonna do at Reagan this upcoming year, because, like I said, you learn things through mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, hey, that didn't work out. I got to do something different. And so this is me doing something different with our approach to our boys for this upcoming season.
Yeah. I will say we did something similar. Not necessarily notebooks, but last year, my JV head coach KP, shout out to KP.
Shout
He
out to KP.
he had all the
KP.
guys. He had all the guys send him a brief synopsis of why. What's my why? And so in that, we learned a little bit about those kids. Um, certain kids are playing because uh, they want to get their mom out of their situation, or they got
Yep.
siblings that look up to them, or basketball is an outlet because they have other stuff going on and it keeps them sane. And so um, I think like you said, just getting kids to talk more. These kids are not very vocal about their
No.
feelings,
Yes.
and so what they do is they act out.
Hmm.
When it boils over or when it becomes too much. I think that's when we see the term crash outs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they
Yep.
got certified crash outs because
Yep.
they don't know how to just come and just have a general conversation. Like I tell my kids all the time, if you can joke with me about, girls and, other stuff, you can talk to me about real life stuff. Like, and
Right.
Yep.
whatever
Yep.
it is. It may be a situation that's out of my hand, or
Hmm.
it may be a situation where I can step in or get you, the right help, but I got to know what's going on in order for me to kind of like plead with you, because if
Sure.
you just not working hard or you just, in a funk, got an attitude, more
Hmm.
times than not, I'm gonna cuss you out. Hey man, listen, bro, we trying to win. We got
Right.
other stuff going. Like we trying to get to this goal, and if you don't want to do this, you standing in the way. But
Right.
that, like you said, that other part of coaching is figuring out what's going on with your players.
Yeah.
So that's people don't understand. You're not just X's and O's when you're a coach. You are a dad, a uncle, a therapist, a counselor. I mean, you're doing a lot. I mean, you wear a lot of hats. You are
Hmm.
your damn Uber driver. You taking kids back and forth. You gotta feed them.
Yeah.
Parents call you and make you be the disciplinary. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
many hats that we wear.
Yeah.
And so, man, I do think, like you said, man, just getting kids to vent more. I think it
Right.
helps. Rob, what you got for
I love that. That actually happened to us. Last year we started off hot. like we started off hot last year, and then we kind of started simming down because we started playing against the bigger teams in conference, and I had one of those. One of those, we all have one of those spaz out moments on the
Mhm.
team. And I
Mhm.
was like, man, I said, why you play, why y'all playing basketball? Like, what's y'all look on why you want to keep coming to practice every day and keep playing these games every day? And I had to be vulnerable first as a coach. I said, I go first. I like the reason why I come here every day and coach the game of basketball, and yes, for myself, but also it takes my mind off like the passing of my dad. It gives me something to look forward to. Like I get excited about getting ready for practice
Mhm.
because that was one of the toughest days of my life. So coming to practice is what motivated me. I love it. I'm happy to be able to come to practice,
Yeah.
and they saw that, and then I went around to everybody else, and they said some beautiful things, man. The one kid that touched me the most is like, man, this is my outlet.
Mhm.
Like not he want to go play in college, not he want to,
Right.
he like, man, this is really an outlet because school at NCLA is school's tough everywhere, but it's tough over there. Like you gotta
Hmm.
be on it, like collar shirt, khaki. It's crazy over there. But he like, man, this is my outlet. Then you had another kid on my team said, like, this might be the only last time I get to really be around my friends for real.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we all go different colleges, and I might see you in the summer, I may not see you in the summer, you
Right.
know. So, and then one kid said, it might be funny because he was one of our star players. He was like, Coach, it's fun. Like playing basketball is fun to me.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
like I love playing basketball. Like I love it. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Now certain games I'd be like, bro, I need a little bit more. I need a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
because I'm like, tell the team, how you feel about the day. He was like, guys, let's go out and just have fun. I'm like, I need a little more of that.
Yeah.
I need a little more. But
Yeah.
but that's what. But he'll go out there and drop 20. So like, boy, keep having fun.
Yeah.
That's right.
Keep having fun. So I think it's great that we give the kids that floor, man, because kids hold so much stuff in. I was a kid, I held stuff in, like
Yep.
what I'm saying. So it's great to just let kids express, because I know they got a lot of pressure going on outside of
They do.
mom, dad, grandma, everybody, your peers, you know, we ought to walk around the school with somebody and say, hey, girl, you better drop 20 today.
Yeah.
You might be
Right.
joking
Yeah.
around, but you really like, damn, I got to at least
I,
drive that.
I gotta do
Yeah.
something.
I got
Yeah.
to do
Right.
something. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Right.
saying? So pressure is big on kids. And like, I think we doing a great job of like talking to kids, letting them express what they got going on, man, because none of us want to see a kid on the news for the wrong thing.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So it's great that we gotta, like y'all said, like Rich said, we wear a lot of hats, man, and I'm proud to be wearing those hats.
No
I'm
doubt.
proud to be able to do what we all doing, and shout out to us for keep doing it.
Yeah.
No doubt. I got to say one more thing.
Mhm.
Um, I'm always on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and I'm always looking at different things. I mean, I guess Facebook, I'm getting a little older,
Yeah.
but I saw something and it said that um, the kids don't care how much you know as far as X and O's,
Mhm.
but as long as you care about them.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah.
And so it just goes back to, I mean, I'm a yeller. I'm a yeller in practice. I mean, I'll get in your face. I'll yell at you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But if a kid knows deep down that I care about them, that's what makes the difference. That's
Yeah.
the buy-in part, and that's the trust part. So, we have to be mindful of that. We're trying to win ball games. We're trying to do this, that, and the third. But if you really want your kids to buy in, they got to know that you care about them.
Yeah.
And kids know when you full of you know what, and
Yeah.
when you
Facts.
real.
Yep.
They know it. They
They
sense
know
it
it.
because they're
Yeah.
always watching you. They're watching how you deal with better players or the less better players or whatnot. They're always watching. So if you can stay solid in that area, then them kids are gonna do what you ask them to do.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
they always watching your social media, man.
Oh
I have
God,
to be
yes.
mindful of what I post because it's like you have to keep tabs on your kids. There's certain
Right.
things
Yes.
you have to keep
Right.
tabs on your kids, but it's like
Right.
us being, sometimes we might post what we feel, or it might be something silly, not thinking, but they always
Right.
watching that stuff. So
Yeah.
now you're right, man. Listen, we right at 55 minutes, man. I feel like time been flying. Um, Monty, if you could leave an aspiring coach with one piece of advice, right? Like, like I said, you've been in this 20 plus years now. Um, a lot of young coaches are now starting to get into, high school basketball. Or a lot of people are always inquiring, how do I get into high school basketball? Like, what's one, if you could just channel it to one thing, what's one piece of advice that you would leave for them?
So if you're trying to get into this crazy world of coaching, shouts out to you first and foremost. But if you're really trying to get into it, you need to have somebody that can mentor you. Somebody who's been around the block, somebody who's been experienced, somebody who has a good name, somebody who does it the right way.
Right.
And you need to surround yourself with winners. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And again, if I got a call from somebody that said, "Hey, I'm looking to get into it," then you know what I would say? I'd be like, "What time can you be there?"
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So you got to get with somebody and just try to just understand kind of what does it really look like to be in this world of this coaching.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to deal with parents. You're gonna have to deal with a lot of distractions. You're gonna have to deal with, kids not wanting to play defense and all that sort of thing. But you need to find a coach that's local, that's open for you to kind of come in and just soak up the experience. That's what I would say, do. That's kind of what I did. Hell, I'm still doing it right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like Billy Martin, I talk to Billy Martin often. My old coach that I had when I was with some state, Coach Hanger,
Hmm.
Carlos Mumford. We talk every day.
Yeah.
So I mean, I gotta continue learning.
Absolutely.
In this game, even though I've done it for a while, I'm still learning. There's still things for me to learn.
Yeah.
So don't ever feel like, oh, I read a book about basketball. Oh, I got it. No,
Yeah.
nah,
Yeah.
nah. It's a lot to this thing. What they
Yeah.
say is there's levels to this thing,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Levels. Facts.
Levels. So
Facts.
that's what
Facts.
I would say. Volunteer somewhere to a coach who's been around the block a little bit,
Yeah.
who can kind of give you some really good feedback on this crazy stuff we do every day.
Yeah. No, that's good advice. Closing quotes, Rod, man, what you got for us?
Closing quotes. Hey, Gray, why you didn't get Rich no gear when he first got out of college to come help you coach?
Hey, hey,
Where
listen,
did that come from?
hey, listen.
Oh, my
I
boy ain't
told
get no
him,
gear, man.
hey, Monty, I told him, because Rod was like, man, at East, like you hooked him up with gear. I say, man, when I got to Glen, man, we was wearing slacks and I was wearing my own clothes and blazers and ties. I said, man, that ain't give me
Oh,
nothing.
The budget was a little different, man. The budget
different.
was a little different.
I
Yeah,
got you. I
yeah,
got you. Got you. Got you. Now, closing quotes, man. Great, man. Thank you so much, man, for joining us today. Um, you one of the goats, man, for sure. Don't let nobody tell you did anything different. You helped me and Rich. And look at us. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you wouldn't give young coaches, a platform to come coach, we
hmm,
wouldn't be coaching. So shout out to you, man. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great season at Reagan.
yeah,
I'm glad we ain't got to play neither one of y'all teams, but hope you have a good season, man. And like I say, you need to learn something from me, give me a call. I know all the plays. You know what I'm saying? I'll play. I'll play. What about you, Rich?
yeah, man. Listen, I think today was great, man. I definitely want to push forward basketball primarily in this area, right? Like, I mean, we can't. It's a lot that we can't change, but I feel like as coaches, each one teach one or each one teach one, and so just some of this information is going to help somebody. And so, man, I want to keep it going, man. We're gonna put this podcast on YouTube. Monty, I'm gonna try to go ahead and break down the some of the stuff we did today. I think it is gonna break up in like different sections,
Yeah,
but we can just put like some stuff like a preview, and man, share it. Anybody that's gonna watch and those kind of things, man. Like we had three really good guys on here again, basketball heads. Like I watch basketball all day.
Hmm.
I'm always thinking about that, and so Coach, man, we definitely appreciate you. I appreciate you, mentoring and always calling and texting me. Sometimes I might post something and I get a random text, "Hey, dude, hey, man, what you think about?" You know what I'm saying? So I know you
Yeah.
so you always watching, man. So I definitely appreciate that, man.
Right. I think that what you guys are doing again, like we got to be fans of each other.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I know Winston sometimes can be rough, and we hold each other to a real high standard. But there are a lot of great coaches in North Carolina, but there are a lot of great coaches in our area. And
Yeah.
so I'm going to be watching. So there may be some gems out there that I can pick up. But there are great retired coaches, young coaches, you know what I'm saying? So look, keep doing what y'all doing. I love this. I'm happy for y'all. And I'll see you guys soon, man. You already know, man. I got to get y'all out there on the golf course, though.
Hey, I'm back. Hey, I'm back. I'm back.
Are you back?
I'm back out
Okay.
there. I'm back out there. We got to get Rod out there, man.
Come on, Rod.
Kid,
I
we
got some
gotta
sticks for you,
we
Rod.
gotta get Rod out
I'm
there, man.
gonna come out
Again,
there.
man.
I'm gonna come out there one day.
Yeah, R&R podcast, man. We appreciate everybody that's gonna, watch. Coach Gray, thank you again, man. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all, brothers.
All right, take
All
care.
right, twin.
All right, twin.